Hello and welcome to Shoot the Hostage with me, Sarah, and my partner Dan. We're a movie podcast and we cover 8 films per season on a specific theme. Now, we swear, we chat major spoilers, and we occasionally cover triggering topics, so please do use listener discretion. If you like what we do and want to support us, consider hitting 5 stars on Spotify, or maybe subscribing or even reviewing on your platform of choice. We also have a Patreon with a free tier for lineups and updates, and 2 paid tiers with extra content and early ad-free uploads. Right, on with the show.
So, episode 4 of 8 in True Crime. It's our second Johnny Legs movie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the first one was?
Of course I know what the first one was. It was Super Mario Brothers.
It makes such a good bill with double bill with Summer of Sam, I think. Super
Would
Mario
it?
Brothers.
What else
Summer of Sam.
What else do they have in common?
Italians. New York.
Well, fine. All right. Yeah, you've got me there.
I reckon in another reality, Spike Lee directed that Super Mario Brothers movie.
Do you?
It's all about New York, yeah. It's all about that other side of New York.
This is the Big Apple double bill.
Yeah. It's also our second Tony Lapps movie. Johnny Legs, Tony Lapps.
Huh?
What else? Tony Lapps. Okay, first question. Who's
Anthony
Tony Lapps?
LaPaglia.
There you go. Yeah.
Tony Lapps. I don't like that one. It's less obvious.
Yeah, well, exactly. We know now, though, don't we? Let it catch on the internet. Everyone be saying it soon.
Right.
Tony Lapps. The Australian actor Anthony LaPaglia. I never knew he was Australian until we watched that Justin Kurzel movie. Yeah. It's like, why is that Italian American doing an Australian accent in an Australian movie?
Why is Joe from Empire Records look like that now?
Yeah. Why is the guy from So I Married an Axe Murderer being Australian?
Yeah, very strange.
Yeah. Well, it's also our first Spike Lee joint.
It is. It is. He's a director I'm less familiar with, I'll be honest. You might have seen more Spike Lee stuff than I have.
I don't know about that. I think you've probably seen more Spike Lee stuff than I have.
Okay.
Well, let's have a competition.
All right.
When you programmed this in, obviously as a filmmaker, I'm familiar with because he's a big name in the industry, but I didn't know much about him as a director or a lot of his movies. I had seen 4 of his films, including Summer of Sam.
4?
Yeah.
That's probably about the same for me then.
Which ones had you seen?
I've definitely seen... Oh, this is a perfect time for my Letterboxd app to crash on me.
I'm not
definitely
editing.
seen... No, I know. I've seen Do the Right Thing. I've definitely seen Malcolm X. I've definitely seen Summer of Sam.
Yeah.
Maybe, have I only seen 3? No. Maybe I've only seen 3. That's embarrassing.
Black Klansman?
No.
You haven't seen Black Klansman?
I haven't.
Okay, we're going to rectify that when I'm back.
Okay, it's not going to be the next Adam Driver movie we watch. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, don't remind me. Oh, interesting. Have you not seen Inside Man?
Nope.
Wow, okay. Well, I had seen more Spike Lee movies than you then. That's interesting.
Is Inside Man in the Inner Space universe?
It's about Martin Short getting injected into the buttocks of Dennis Quaid, yeah.
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 He's Inside Man.
Oh, I read it more like Inside Man.
Oh, instead of Outdoors Man.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the John Candy movie, I think.
Okay, yeah.
One with a bear. The bear tries to eat Dan Aykroyd or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're talking about already. I feel like
Spike
I'm losing my mind. Spike Lee. Spike Lee.
Didn't you watch his latest?
I watched Highest to Lowest the other day because it was on Apple TV, and I didn't realise when I watched it that it was a remake of a Kurosawa movie, which I think the original was called High Low or High and Low or something, but it's a remake. So I was curious that he seems to like a remake. I say that there have been 2 that I'm aware of.
Well, that and Old Boy. He likes to ruin East Asian movies.
I thought Highest to Lowest was quite good. I quite liked it, and then I sort of went online, and it was better than Old. The reception was better than Old Boy.
Well, I haven't seen either, but I was
Yeah.
speaking in jest because I remember when Old Boy came out and it was not met with the greatest reception.
No, I'd heard that.
Yeah.
I'd heard that too, and I think I won't ever bother with it because I've seen the original Old Boy, and it's like, what's the point? If it's a
Yeah.
worse version of that, then why would I bother?
We're doing a worse version. Old Boy's like a 5-star movie.
No, I mean, if the Spike Lee version is a worse version than the original Old Boy, then why would I
Well,
bother
yeah,
with
of
that?
course, of course. I don't know. Maybe you're a massive Josh Brolin fan.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I'm not. I had also seen The 25th Hour. I had seen that one, the Edward Norton one.
Okay, aware of it. Again, haven't seen it.
Quite liked that. But I sort of used the opportunity. Pretty much the only research that I've done for this episode is to watch as many Spike Lee movies as I could sort of get my hands on. So I watched Black Klansman again, and I did like that the first time I saw it. But watching it this time, I was like, wow, this is my favorite Spike Lee movie. I think
Okay.
it's absolutely brilliant. It's very funny. It's very interesting and social commentary that runs through a lot of his movies. And it's got a weird performance from Paul Walter Hauser. So what more could you want?
That's your new benchmark for a good piece of entertainment.
I don't know why he keeps popping up. It's so weird now. Like it's like you see a red car and then you see red cars all day. If you see a Paul Walter Hauser, every movie you watch has got Paul Walter Hauser in it.
It's the Paul Walter Hauser effect.
Yeah. So I watched that and I enjoyed that a lot more than I enjoyed it first time. And I'm looking forward to watching that with you, especially if you've not seen it.
Okay.
I also I put aside 3 days to watch Malcolm X, and Paul Walter Hauser was in that as well.
I don't remember him in that.
He was a baby.
Yeah, he must have been.
Yeah. He's also the baby in Baby's Day Out, I think, but Malcolm X was his debut, I think.
Yeah, and he quite famously voices Boss Baby.
Yeah. Does he really?
No.
Oh.
For some reason, I think that might be Alec Baldwin.
Oh, it is Alec Baldwin, isn't it? I think I'd heard that.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? Malcolm X is something I hadn't seen before, but I was sort of aware of it, and it's so long. It's so long.
That's what she said.
It was good though. I mean, it was a very good movie, and I think I had to sort of pause it halfway through and go and have a bath, and then come back and watch the rest of it. And so I spent pretty much the entire day, I think, watching Malcolm X. But it was good though, and it was nice to watch an earlier film of his, I guess, because I watched a few later ones and I've watched some earlier ones. I wanted to watch Do the Right Thing, but that's on Now TV at the moment, and I didn't want to pay for another streaming service.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I want to pay a 10 quid just to watch Do the Right Thing and then nothing else that's on there.
Yeah, pay a tenner to watch a 30-year-old movie.
Yeah. But I am curious to watch that though.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's great. And it's one that gets referenced quite a bit. Most recently in Sinners that I can think of.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But it's one of those films that if you're like, oh, you're a film guy, you should see this. Like, you know what I mean? A classic in the film bro regard.
Yeah. And I think it's always nice as well to watch earlier movies in a director's career, because you sort of see where they started and you see some of the techniques. I think someone with such a specific style with Spike Lee as well, it's also interesting to see those techniques being employed earlier and maybe perfected later and used, I wouldn't say better, but just differently in later movies. So that would be super interesting to go back and see that.
When was the first time you saw Summer of Sam?
Well, Sarah, I'm glad you asked, because you made me watch it when we were together.
Make you. I said, Dan, shall we watch this movie? And you went, I've not got a better suggestion. I'm guessing that's usually how these conversations go.
9 out of 10, that's what it is, yeah. I'm like, can we not watch something with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it? And you're like, no. It's like, all right, we'll watch
Again.
it. Yeah.
I've had my fill of Commando this year.
Never too much Commando. Yeah, how long ago was that? 4 years ago now?
Yeah, a couple of years maybe. Not that long
Yeah.
ago. Yeah.
So yeah, that was the first time that I had watched Summer of Sam.
And what did you make of it on first viewing?
Oh, what did I make of it on first viewing? I think my opinion hasn't changed an awful lot since the first time
Okay.
I watched it. I thought it was quite good when I first saw it, and I'm pretty much the same now. I think it's quite good. It's weird because sometimes my opinions change and evolve when we are watching films for the podcast. Often I see things and unpack things that I really like or don't like so much, and it's I don't know. It's almost quite unusual for me to have exactly the same opinion when I watch the film for pleasure and when I watch the film
Mm,
for the podcast.
it is,
And
yeah. That's why I asked.
I sort of tried to think about it. I was like, but do I have the same opinion? And I really, really thought about it a lot. And I even watched it twice. I watched it again this morning, and it's like, yeah, it's the same. Like, I think it's quite good. I have some problems with it, and I
Hmm.
think some of it is excellent. And I
Okay.
think it sort of balances out sort of somewhere in between those two things for me. But I missed out on it when it came out in 1999. I think I was watching The Matrix or something. I don't know. Someone
Whatever.
getting kicked in the head.
Yeah, whatever Arnie film came out that year. What was 99?
Sixth Day, maybe. I
Yeah.
would say. Yeah.
Probably.
I. But did you see this when it came out?
Hmm. Yeah, I saw this at the cinema in Bolton. I don't know why I remember that.
It's the only time you've ever been to Bolton.
Oh no, I've been to Bolton loads. I'd
Well, you don't want to go shouting about that. It's not something to brag about.
well they had a cinema that had a monthly pass, and Berry
Mm.
didn't have that. We weren't good enough.
You didn't have a cinema,
So we had a cinema, but it didn't have the unlimited pass. This was
right?
like I think it was like 10 quid a month and you could see whatever you wanted. So me and my friend didn't have college on Wednesdays and we would go every Wednesday and try and see 2 or 3 films to try and really fucking rinse that membership.
Yeah, too right. 10 quid a month. God, I wish it
Yeah.
cost that now.
You know, it was crazy. It
God.
was I think that was like a student pass, but still.
Yeah, that's mad. I remember
Yeah.
my local cinema in Southend. When that first opened, it was £1 for a movie. So we would just go and watch loads of stuff. And then later on, when I went to college, I think it went up to like £2.50 or something. But you know, I don't know if you had this when you were in college. I'd have lessons in the morning and then lessons late in the afternoon, and a 4-hour gap that I've just got to fucking. And they wonder why crime happens.
Yeah, that's
I've
when
got
you
to.
just
What am I going to?
that's when you
I'm a.
go and hide in the bus stop and get stoned.
That's a crime. That's my point. You're making my point for me. Thank you. But like, so you've got and you're a poor student. You haven't got any money. You've got 4 hours to fill. So like, but luckily the cinema was pretty cheap. But the negative is that I went to see My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and that was a big pile of shit. But must have seen something good. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the £10 a month thing, watching 2 to 3 films every week, is why I watched The Wedding Singer 3 times
Well,
on
yeah,
release. And also Detroit Rock City. I went to see that 3 times as well.
I didn't even know that got a cinema release.
It did. It did in Bolton
Wow.
anyway.
Yeah, Bolton. It's like you
Yeah.
and Vernon Kay went to see it.
Bolton's like the UK's Detroit, so that makes
Is it?
sense. Yeah. It's me, Vernon Kay, and Peter Kay. Are they all called Kay?
I think so. Where's Sarah Cox from? She's called Cox, so she's not a K. Begins with a C
Is she
though, which is sort of
Northern?
like a K. Is Sarah Cox Northern?
I don't remember. I
Yeah.
get her and Zoe Ball muddled up.
Zoe
Easy
Ball's not
mistake to
Northern.
make. No, I know. That's
Yeah.
why I was confused.
I mean, they
Anyway,
both did breakfast shows on Radio 1, so
but
it's easy
but
to
none of them
confuse.
are Spike Lee. So
I don't,
let's
don't
get
believe
back
they
to
are.
the task at hand, shall we?
Yeah, let's get very serious and do our very serious film critic podcast that we do.
Well, do
No
you know
stupid
what?
shit in it.
You say that, but I am actually really keen to hear the good and the bad from you because I don't know, this is a film, like I say, that I saw in whenever it came out, whether that was 99 or 2000, I don't know, but I definitely saw it at the
99, yeah.
cinema. I'm pretty confident if I didn't own it on VHS, then it would have been an early DVD buy. For some reason, I own it on Region 1 and Region 2. Because why
you've got to
not?
have both regions, haven't you?
Yeah, you just never know, do you?
You never know. You've got to plan for these things. What if the bombs go off?
Look, my ultimate plan for when the world goes to shit, everybody else is going to be fighting in the water wars, and I will just quietly open up Sarah's Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And
what about
everyone,
me? What about Dan's Blockbuster?
Well, you're going to be off getting us water.
Oh, right. Okay. I see how this works. I'm
While
going fighting in the water wars and you're
Yeah.
opening up a video shop.
Yeah. That's
That
what the
sounds very fair.
patriarchy wants, Dan.
Fuck the patriarchy.
I didn't make these rules.
I've never been a fan of the patriarchy. You know that. Why have I got to fucking participate all of a sudden? Just because it's got the word war in it.
Let's just get one of those things that turns urine into drinkable water then. What are those things that are used in Waterworld? Yeah. and then we won't have to go out and fight, and we can just charge people late fees.
Yeah. And then we could use that to buy more water.
Yeah,
and then we can
fine.
We can hoard the water as well, can't we? We can be those people. Mm-hmm. We can store the water, we can hoard it and put it next to all of our toilet paper in a garage.
Yeah. Whilst running our own version of Netflix.
Sounds good.
Netflix. Yeah.
I believe that must have been taken.
Almost certainly. It's too easy.
Spike Lee?
Anyway, so that's my long-term plan. And if you're interested, I have 2 copies of Summer of Sam.
But they're not for sale.
No.
Because we're going to need them for the water wars.
Yeah.
What a very sensible conversation we're having. So, do you know what? We were talking about Spike Lee, weren't we? What was I going to ask you? Yeah, that's it. So you saw it in 99. You must have been pretty keen on it because you said that you bought it either on VHS or an early DVD.
Yeah.
So you must have liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the first Spike Lee film that you saw, or had you seen others before?
I think it must have been the first, yeah, which is probably a really weird first Spike Lee film.
Not when you're our age.
For your indoctrination. Yeah, maybe.
You're not going to be watching Malcolm X when you're 9, are you? Like, you're not going to get anything from that movie when you're 9.
I did rent it from the library when I was a teenager.
Of course. Young Sarah rented Malcolm X from the library.
I remember the cover of the VHS because it was just a black cover with a massive like grey X on the front.
Yeah.
It looked naughty, but it wasn't.
No, you would think it'd be a different movie, wouldn't you? It's got an X in it.
Malcolm XXX. Oh no, that's we're heading into some dangerous territory now. Let's talk about something less offensive, shall we?
Oh, we might get cancelled for that. I don't know.
If we haven't been cancelled yet, it's not going to be for that. Come on.
No.
I've got way more offensive stuff in me yet.
Oh, I know. I cut most of it out. You should hear the shit that she says, honestly.
Oh, coming from you?
I censor myself. Mm-hmm. When the mics are on, I do.
Yeah, sure.
Spike Lee?
Mm-hmm.
So you saw Malcolm X before Summer of Sam?
No, I think it was just after.
Right, okay.
Summer of Sam was probably the first, at which point I probably read an article in Empire magazine and was like, oh, this Spike Lee guy sounds all right. And then pootled along to the library like a dweeb.
I see. I think possibly the first Spike Lee film that I saw was probably The 25th Hour.
Okay.
Because, let me look at the list here. Yeah, I think it almost 100% was, because big fan of Edward Norton back in the day, off the back of American History X, or another film that you would think is raunchier than it is.
Oh
no. Stop putting X in the title of movies, especially when they're like covering such serious topics, all right?
Agreed. Malcolm X should have changed his name for our benefit. You heard it here first.
I don't think you can say that either about changing his name. The whole point, anyway. Let's not get into that. Let's not get into why he called himself Malcolm X. All right, this is
jokes. It's just jokes. Don't cancel us.
Oh Lord. Edward Norton. Loved Edward Norton. I really liked American History X, and I really loved Rounders. So that was a stage where I sort of would watch anything he was in. So I probably didn't know it was a Spike Lee movie, and watched the 25th Hour and really liked it.
Cool.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, it's a true story. Yeah. I'll clip this bit. I'm going to put it in the
Yeah,
best
that's
of
going to be in
clip
the
show.
best of. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I watched this and it was all right.
Yeah. You could say that about any of our shows, though. Basically, that's what it is, isn't it? It's us going up. That was all right.
Well, no. Sometimes we're talking about artificial kangaroo penis.
No, sometimes we are doing that. Yeah, you're right.
Not all shows are created equal, Dan.
No, that's true. Although there seems to be an equal amount of smut and filth in a lot of them. This one's not started great, has it? Like we just lots of inappropriate jokes about triple X titles
Look,
and serious movies about black culture and social commentary.
all right, I'm going to make an excuse now. This might change the way some people listen to this podcast. When I'm having a rough time of it in my personal life, my sense of humor gets darker as a coping mechanism. So that should clue you in as to where my head's at currently.
Okay.
And also, I think both of our brains sort of melted out of our ears a little bit watching Boys Don't Cry for the last show.
Yeah.
So I think maybe subconsciously we're both trying to lighten the mood a little bit because that was it kind of had to be a more serious show.
Yeah, and that was a rough watch as well in places, but this was no cakewalk. Like
This
Summer
is
of
a
Sam
breeze by comparison.
I don't know about that. I mean,
By comparison,
I wouldn't call it a breeze by comparison. I would say it's easier by comparison, but it's still a grimy movie. It's still a gritty, grimy movie about someone that murdered like 10 people or something.
because a 3,000-year-old dog told him to.
Naturally, yeah.
I
mean,
and he was completely sane. The dog, not the man.
The dog voiced by John Turturro. Actually, let me ask you that, because until I'd heard of this movie when it came out, but I didn't know anything about the Son of Sam stuff.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that you did, and you consumed a lot of it. I don't know, before the movie or after the movie, probably after.
Honestly, the movie was probably my first sort of exposure to the Son of Sam case.
Yeah.
At which point I probably did seek out a bunch more information, but this definitely would have been the first time I'd heard about it.
And I mean, let's not go through every detail because it seems like there's a lot to go through. There's a 3-episode documentary on Netflix. I imagine of 10,000 documentaries that exist about the subject matter. I watched 2 out of the 3 episodes, and they started talking about cults and like sacrifices and worshipping, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This is none of this is relevant to the movie, so I just didn't bother with the 3rd episode because the movie is like it's not really about the case. It's about the context of the case and what that does to people in New York. So I guess my question to you is, what the fuck is going on with the real case? Can you give me like, do they know that it was him? Was it definitely him? I know he confessed to it, but is there all this stuff that's surrounding it that's like throws up a question mark?
Well, there was speculation that it was more than one person, wasn't there?
Yeah,
that's
yes.
the big thing. But look, from the research that I've done, from what I know about this case, I think they've got their man. I think it was just this one crazy guy who's a piece of shit who killed a bunch of people, and they caught him with a parking ticket.
Yeah. As they do, yeah.
The most unlucky thing.
But it's always the small things that get you though, isn't it?
Yeah,
like you get done for speeding or dodging a tax bill or something. Yeah. So it's interesting that this probably out of I haven't seen all of the movies that we're covering in this, but out of all the ones that I have seen, this is maybe the one that's not really about the crime. It's not really about the true crime. It's kind of borderline to consider this a true crime movie. I mean, you can, but in the context of when you're watching films that are about the actual crime.
Look,
and this isn't.
I'm not going to get into semantics. This is a true crime movie. Okay.
All right.
But
okay.
what I will say is the fact that it's about the effect on the community is kind of my favorite thing about it. Because most true crime films is just like a straight retelling of events. This does something a bit different, and I really appreciate it for that. But I do believe originally it was supposed to be more of like a retelling, but there was like a lot of pushback from relatives of the victims. And so when that happened, the story started to change to focus more on the community elements.
That's interesting, because I suppose, well, one of the thoughts that I just had is if you're adapting a crime, like it's like real world events, and you have to consider the people that are affected by that, and you're in danger of exploiting people and events. So I'm guessing that they completely avoided all of that in this film. I'm sure that it had some criticism, but given that it's not really about that, and it's about a neighborhood and the fear and the paranoia that this case is adding to.
And the fact that Johnny Legs is just irresistible to all women, apparently.
You saw his pants. Come on. We all saw his pants. And it's Johnny Legs. Like, come on. That's fucking Tybalt, man. That's Luigi Mario.
Tybalt was different. Okay. I'm sure that was an awakening for lots of teenage girls in 1996. However,
I would say it would have been an awakening for me, but I had already seen Super Mario Brothers at that point, so I was well aware of the Johnny Legs charm.
You were ahead of the game.
I was way ahead of the game. Yeah. If you love Romeo and Juliet, you should check out this movie. I did it. What about did these massive 70s collars do it for you?
They didn't do it for me. But no, I like them as in to wear. It's not like a thing that I find attractive on other people. I would just be like, oh, I want that shirt for me to wear.
I couldn't take my eyes. It was part of the reason I watched it twice, because that first time when they walk into that club and those collars are just sticking out like a sore thumb, I couldn't take my eyes off them. And not in a good way. I fucking hate them.
I love a dagger collar.
Oh,
I love it.
It's grotesque. This is where we differ. Like, I can't stand 70s fashion.
Oh, this is where we differ.
There's a few things that we differ on. One of the things is 70s fashion. I can't bear it. Everything's too baggy and everything's too big.
Oh, bring back men in jumpsuits.
No. Had you seen Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion before you saw this movie?
Yes.
Of
course.
Oh, this film's got Romeo or Michelle in it. I can't remember which one's which. Can you?
I think she's Romy.
Is she?
Because I can picture her saying Michelle.
Right, and she is on the left on the poster.
I think she's Romy.
Yeah, okay. It's got Romy in it from Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. Yeah. Johnny Legs, like Jennifer Esposito. Adrian, this must have been the first time you saw Adrian Brody.
Probably, yes. Yeah.
I can't think of anything that I would have seen him in. God, I don't think I was aware of him until, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, actually. Maybe 2005 or something.
What was the thing that sort of put him on the map?
Oh, it was that Oscar thing.
Well, yeah, obviously, but which one?
Oh, is it not called The Piano, is it? Or I think it's something else.
I don't know, there's a few. There's the piano, there's the pianist.
Oh, it might be.
Maybe it's the pianist. Is the piano the one where Harvey Keitel gets his cock out?
Adrian Brody Oscar movie.
It's just going to be The Brutalist.
The Pianist. The Brutalist.
Oh, right.
Oh, did he win it for The Brutalist as well?
No, I don't. I have no idea. I just suspect that was an Oscar-y film.
Yeah, no, he did. Adrian. I'll tell you what. Like the last few days, when I've Googled something, Google AI has just given me completely incorrect information. I was trying to find a name of a punk song, right, in Summer of Sam, and I said, "What are the names of all of the punk songs in Summer of Sam?" And AI said, "There are no punk songs in Summer of Sam." And I'm thinking, "Are you fucking high?"
Well, which one do you mean?
It's the one in a CBGB club. when the gangsters, when the two guys are going in to try and find Richie, and there's a song playing. I couldn't figure out what the lyrics. I couldn't hear the lyrics, but I was just trying to figure out what it was because I thought it might be relevant. Anyway, it's not important.
Okay.
Adrian Brody. He's in this movie, isn't he?
Yes.
This is the first time I've ever seen Adrian Brody in his pants.
Yeah.
Which is the first shot of Adrian Brody, is you see him wake up in his pants. And
Is that the first shot? I thought the first shot was when he was walking down the street to meet them in the, what do you call it? Cul-de-sac.
The cul-de-sac. I know what you mean.
It's the most English way of wording it, but
I was trying to figure out what that thing was called as well. It's a dead end thing.
Dead end, yeah.
No, I believe the first time you see him is when the alarm goes off and he's just in his bed and he's wearing his little blue underpants and he walks downstairs to see his parents, his mum, Patti LuPone, and his stepdad, the bloke from Dumb and Dumber. And he's just in his pants and I'm thinking,
what, Jim
mate,
Carrey?
Jeff Daniels. And he's just walking down in his pants and just like, well, mate, what are you doing? Like, this is not making me like the character at all. Interestingly, Spike Lee wanted Leonardo DiCaprio to play that role.
I did read that, yeah.
What do you think of that?
No, I like Adrian Brody in this role.
Do you?
I do, but that's probably because I've spent 25 years sitting with it, you know.
I suppose so, yeah.
I don't know. You don't then?
I think I've sort of come around to him. I think that the issue is that I find that character initially quite irritating. Like I warm to him as the movie goes on.
Do you like any characters in this though?
I would not. I would say there are. I mean, the Mira Sorvino character's kind of inoffensive, but she's not
the only
much
one that's
character.
Not a massive piece of shit.
I don't think Jennifer Esposito's character is a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, okay.
Obviously,
all women innocent in this movie.
Obviously, Vinny is not the greatest guy, but I wouldn't go as far as to say that I hate him, and that might just be the Johnny Legs thing.
That's the Johnny Legs bias.
Yeah, I think it might be because Johnny Legs has a certain charm, and I think it works because I think if you have anyone else in that role, I think I might just find him just completely unwatchable because
he's horrible. He's a vile character.
He's not great. Yeah,
he's a coward.
Yeah, he shops his mate for no reason. He's constantly cheating on Mira Sorvino, and he's spitting on people and just constantly on Quaaludes, which is a thing that might pop up again in this season. The Quaaludes season. Oh, God, that's giving too much away, isn't it?
Well, we've already covered Almost Famous, so yeah.
Sarah does all of the Quaaludes and all of the incest movies. Do I like anyone? No, I think the Mira Sorvino and Jennifer Esposito characters. It's Deanna is Mira Sorvino and Ruby is Esposito. I think Esposito gets way more to do.
Yeah.
I think she has the more interesting character, although I do find it interesting that there's sort of, it might possibly be that it's been on my mind, but I found that the theme of identity quite interesting in this film and how people are sort of playing roles for one reason or another. And I'm going to defend it because I believe that Brody does bring up at one point that people are born with two personalities and he doesn't know where one starts and one finishes and stuff. But I found the Esposito character interesting that she seems to be constantly changing her character or her appearance anyway.
Yeah.
Like she meets like when the Summer of Sam stuff is happening and the media is saying he's not going after blonde women, she dyes her hair blonde.
Which is a thing that many women did in New York.
Yeah.
Just panic, bleached their hair.
Yeah. And then she becomes sort of a punk with Adrian Brody. So she's sort of constantly shifting as well, depending on what her environment is maybe suggesting to her. So she seems like more of a kind of a chameleon to me, which I found quite interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe we explored that a bit more, but we had to focus on the serial cheater and his leopard print pants for some reason.
Because it was more interesting. You just said so. Because it was Johnny Legs. That is literally the reason.
Yeah.
Um, the cast were afforded quite a lot of opportunity to improvise. And originally, Vinny's character was supposed to be a lot smaller, but Spike Lee loved John Leguizamo's improvisations so much that he just kept giving him more and more screen time. So that's literally why. It's the Johnny
Right.
Legs effect.
Interesting. Okay. I wonder if Mira Sorvino really liked his improvisation when he spat on her for real in the car.
Yeah, that was an improvisation, and she didn't know he was going to do it, which
Oh,
is I don't know. I don't love that. I think
no.
fair enough if you've got this idea that you want your character to go in a specific direction, discuss it with your co-star before just gobbing in her face.
I agree. I think there's certain things you can do off the cuff if you're talking like using words and things like that. But if you're
Yeah.
going to assault somebody, I think that you should let them know first.
Yeah, if
I
bodily
mean, it's,
fluids are involved, get a consent form at
I
the
think
very
so.
least. It
I
wouldn't
think
happen
so.
these days.
No.
Somebody be getting sued in 2025.
Well, I thought it was interesting as well how Vinny seems to be playing a character. I think everyone sort of is really. I think it's quite interesting how he's got his Italian mates, and he's one of the boys, and he's got his relationship with Mira Sorvino, and he's trying. Like, there's one side of him that believes he's a loving, caring husband, I guess. So he's trying to fulfill that, but then also he's cheating on her constantly. So he's like, I'm a bit of a playboy, and that's there's a lot of kind of very stereotypical personalities that people are fulfilling. And I
Mhm.
thought that it's interesting that all of them are doing it. Adrian Brody as well. That's the most obvious one. He's doing a British accent for the first half an hour of the movie, if you can call it that. But
Well, in his defense, I do believe it is supposed to be terrible.
yeah, I mean, you buy it because when I think when I first heard it, I found it really annoying. That's part of the reason why I don't like his character initially. But yeah, it's so bad, but that is part of it. That's kind of meant to be that way, isn't it? And even he is, he's doing the punk thing and the dog collar, and he's having that conversation later. The Italian, like the low level mob guys, I guess, who they kind of hang around with their mates. One was a drug dealer. The other one is the other two idiots are making constant sex puns and that sort of thing. So it's like the boys' humor, the lads just being lads.
The boys.
Yeah. You've got
Boys,
the
boys,
gay
boys.
character. Is it Bobby the Fairy they call him?
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like it's probably quite era accurate, but that's it's a strange dynamic because they speak to him really derogatory in a derogatory way,
Yeah.
but then also seem quite protective of him, especially further
Yeah.
into the film.
Yeah, it's sort of mixed messages there as well because they assault him, don't they? In
Mm.
that first act with the cigarette, they burn him with a cigarette. So
Hmm.
it is quite a strange relationship there. Yeah,
It's almost like a sibling thing.
yeah,
Like we can bully you, but if anybody else bullies you,
yeah.
then they'll be
That's
in
what
trouble.
I didn't think of the sibling thing, but that did occur to me as well. Like, look, no, we can do what we like because he's our mate,
Mm.
but you can't. That was interesting. The sports thing kept popping up as well. Like they're talking about one of the first time they do a toast in a club. They toast the Yankees, and then they beat someone up later in the film for being a Boston fan. And so it's like that's another sort of identity. People identify with being a sports fan and with a certain team, and like that's the be all and end all of everything. And I don't know, just it kept popping up for me in lots of different places. The singer, the guy who put all his personality and his stock in being a singer, the stepdad, and now
Mm.
he's not so happy that he's not doing that anymore. And I think that was very interesting.
Mm.
I don't really know how it fitted in with the whole Summer of Sam thing, but it was, and maybe that brings me to one of my first criticisms. That I think there's just a bit too much in this film, and it feels a bit unwieldy and unfocused at times.
I think that's a fair criticism, and it's one that I've seen elsewhere as well. I think this film has like an average of 3.5 on Letterboxd, which is decent, I think, but
Yeah,
also I can absolutely see why it would divide people, particularly because it's like what 2 hours 20 minutes.
yeah,
It
it's
is
a very long movie.
it is quite a long movie, and there is a lot going on, and some of it could be interpreted as a bit of a mess. but I just find it so watchable. But like going back to the Adrian Brody thing, like I understand why you find his character annoying, particularly when he's like putting on the accent and stuff. But I think one of the reasons that I was drawn to this film is quite shallow. And that's because I didn't grow up in it, but certainly when I was a teenager, gravitated towards like the punk subculture. And like to this day, I'm sort of alternative in a vague sense.
Are you?
But I am, yeah. Have you not noticed?
No.
But
No,
I
you
would
should have told
say
me, really.
I would say punk is still like the subculture that I probably most align myself with.
Mm.
And so when the film came out, it was like you didn't see that represented on screen very often. And it's another reason I love films like Sid and Nancy and, you know, Green Room. It's sort of seeing
Yeah.
that subculture represented is just nice. So that's
Yeah.
definitely one reason that I have a bit of a bias towards this movie.
That's interesting. Because it's also like it's vilified in this movie, isn't it? Through the
Mhm.
eyes of the neighborhood and his mates. They can't understand what he's doing. They see a mohawk and they think he's a devil person or something.
Well, I mean, it still is a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Every time, like, obviously, this is going back a hell of a long way now. This is going back to the 90s, but things like the West Memphis 3 case, if we're going to talk true crime, people were still very much like, oh, he's dyed his hair black. They listen to metal music. Guilty.
Guilty, yeah.
There's still kind of a prevalence of that way of thinking. It's less that people are sort of targeted for that. Because even when I was at college, like the alternative kids were getting beaten up on the way home from college or whatever, just because they looked a little bit different. I mean, Christ, like one town over from where I'm from, there was that famous case of Sophie Lancaster, who was literally just murdered for being different.
Wow.
And there's like a whole foundation in her honor and everything. That was huge at the time. So I think that's not too far from the truth, sadly.
Yeah.
Anybody who's anybody's sort of singled out for perceived differences, aren't they?
Yeah.
Whether that's race or sexuality or a subculture that you ascribe to.
Yeah, something that's not part of the mainstream, something
Yeah.
that's kind of seen as on the fringes, on the edges of society where, I don't know, I suppose like, I don't know, the Brody character maybe felt a bit like an outsider and he finds this community that he enjoys being a part of and is accepted for who he is and how he wants to express himself. And there must be some truth in this. I'm guessing it sounds like it from the sort of things that you were just explaining earlier, that people seem to be afraid of that for some reason because it's different and it's not what they know. They see someone with a mohawk and they think, oh, this guy's a weirdo. He must be murdering people.
Yeah, I do
It's
think
a
the
leap.
anger stems from fear ultimately.
I think it 100% stems from fear. And I think that's another interesting part of this movie is the paranoia aspect of it. And because of these murders were happening at this time and you had a lot of problems just in New York generally during that summer and that period of history as well in the mid to late 70s. And it was all this sort of pressure cooker environment. And I think when people were afraid and paranoid, then, shit's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting that the Adrian Brody character was kind of the like the poster boy for that, and for them taking all of their blame out on him and thinking that he's the son of Sam character killer. People fear what they don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and they hurt things that they fear,
Yeah.
and it's drummed into them from an early age. There's that scene where the drug dealer friend of theirs, I can't remember their names.
There's a
But
lot of
you know the
people
one I
in this
mean.
movie. I do.
Yeah, the Italian one.
Oh, that
He,
narrows it down, yeah.
yeah, not Johnny Legs, who's always playing an Italian person.
I know.
There's the guy that explains to Richie that he is not with his wife anymore, but he's got a daughter, and he brings his daughter along to, what a good parent. He's selling drugs on the street, and he thinks, yeah, I'll bring my daughter to that. But then he tells off Adrian Brody for saying hello to his daughter with a weird haircut.
Yeah.
And
That's the issue.
like, yeah, that's the bad thing in this situation. Don't worry about the heroin you've got in your pocket, mate. Yeah, no, you're a bad guy, and we should fear you because you've got what is even that haircut called when he's just got the things coming out of his head?
Um, it's called Liberty Spikes.
Is it really?
And I'm going to
Okay.
send you a picture, and I'm going to have to post this picture somewhere now to make it make sense. But there you go. Yeah, Liberty Spikes.
Oh yeah, I've seen this picture before. All right, well we're gonna have to use this for the marketing for this episode, Sarah.
Okay.
Sometimes you're like, I don't know what to put on Instagram. Well, we know, don't we? Um, yeah, Liberty Spikes, great, great. So yeah, he's got the Liberty Spikes in that scene, and the mob guy is like, be afraid of him. Let's not talk to the scary man. So what my point is that it's driven into the people at a young age, and I'm sure Spike
Mm.
Lee is tapping into that and he's exploring that. So there's not many kids in this movie. I think it might be the only kid in this movie. Interesting that he
Thank
uses,
God.
yeah, but he uses that character to show us that very specific point. And Brody's very sweet as well. He's like, oh,
Mm.
trying to say hello to the kid. Like, I wouldn't do that. I fucking hate kids. But
You'd have yeeted her into the water by then.
I know I should be more of a suspect than him.
But that's it. It's always the normal looking people.
Right?
Hence, like the guy who actually perpetrated the crimes.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do a double take on the street if you saw him. I mean,
What,
if he was
Berkowitz?
if he was muttering about a 3,000-year-old dog and brandishing a
Yeah.
gun, maybe you'd run away. But
I probably, yeah. I probably would. But yeah, that paranoia comes from your parents. It comes from being a kid and the things you absorb as a kid, and that fear, those things that we're told to be afraid of. And
Mhm.
you're taught to be afraid of anything that's different. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on in this film. There's just too many different things. I feel like
Yeah.
maybe there's 2 or 3 films in here, and they've sort of jumbled them all up into one. Maybe we could have done a trilogy or something.
So, just going back a little ways, I mentioned earlier on that there was a version of this script that was more focused just on the crimes and on Berkowitz himself, but then that expanded after pushback from the relatives. Do you think this film then becomes more or less respectful of the victims? Because you could, I think there's an argument to be made that by focusing on the wider community, that's actually more disrespectful because the victims are sort of shown very briefly in cars getting their brains blown out, and then that's it.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on your perspective, really. I personally think it's more respectful because you can watch a documentary, and like I said, there's probably 10,000 documentaries about this, and there's probably 1,000 direct-to-TV movies about it as well. But this film is not about that. It's not. It's about something else entirely. So I don't think it's almost like irrelevant to it. Could have been. Yeah, I can see the point. Maybe a point you could make is, well, why not just do a fictitious murder then? But then you're trying to conjure up a very specific period in time and use the real world events to tell. I imagine like the individual stories were mostly made up with maybe some real inspirations, but I don't have a problem with it. But then I'm not linked to any of these cases. That's an
Mm.
interesting question, though. What are your thoughts on it?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because trying to put myself in the shoes of, say, if I was a relative of one of the victims, it wouldn't make me feel great that their only inclusion was one of the very short, disparate moments of gore in the film. That would make me feel a little bit weird and like they were just glossed over. But again, like you said, this is something different. There are other bits of media that you can consume if that's what
Mm.
you do want. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's disrespectful, but I can understand why living relatives might be upset by it.
If you had a relative that was a victim
Hmm.
of the son of Sam, would you watch the movie though?
No, probably not.
I mean, neither
Too
would
close
I.
to
Like,
home.
yeah, there's no not a chance in hell. I wouldn't want to think about it. Wouldn't read about it. I wouldn't watch documentaries about it. If someone brought it up, I'd say I actually know someone that was murdered. So I really don't want to think about it or talk about it. So I don't know, man.
But imagine the quandary if they're also the world's biggest Johnny Legs fan. Oh, the dilemma.
Well, If they said that to me, I would say, look, I've got another movie that I think you'll like. This one's got
Do
flying
you,
boots.
yeah, do you like Bob Hoskins? Oh, we're in for a treat. As an extension of that question, how do you think about about how the murders were presented? Because certainly the first one, it's funny, like watching these films
Is it?
apart. Yeah, laugh riot. Where have you been? No, it's interesting watching these films separately as we're having to do this season, because there's so many things where I would have been like digging you in the ribs and making a snide comment, which in in some regards is a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first murders, I did think, God, if you were in that car and ABBA was on the radio, you'd probably be praying for a bullet.
Yeah. Yeah, damn right. I mean,
But
I
yeah,
wouldn't have ABBA on in a car anyway.
well, no. But they were, I don't know, quite shocking, I guess, because there's the stuff that's going on around is just like, hey, discos and
Yeah.
having sex in cars and doing drugs and going to CBGBs, all that sort of stuff. And then it's just like, oh God, people are getting shot in their vehicles.
Yeah.
They sort of were spread about and kind of punctuated the other events in quite a shocking way, I think.
I think I had heard somewhere that at least a couple of the murders were presented in a way that seems more or less realistic, the way that they went down, or I guess to the extent that they can know. Yeah, but that is, I suppose it is, you're right, it is really the only moments of gore in the movie where you see like blood spilt and stuff. But it's interesting that you've got that kind of the difference in. I suppose it's almost like a transitionary period. It feels like to me from like maybe the early 70s, the hippie movement, and people feeling safe. And I never used to lock my door when I went to bed. But then you're sort of approaching the 80s, and things sort of seem to change. I mean, I wasn't around. You'd have to ask someone that was, but that it feels like a transitionary period as well, and maybe that kind of free love era when we're having sex in cars and we're doing all that stuff, and then that sort of starts to change because of this situation and because of the fear and the paranoia that's going on. And we've never returned to that glorious time when everyone's just boning in cars, have we? We never have.
Bring back dogging.
Listen, I'm from Southend. Dogging never went away, all right? There's very specific areas that you can go. Apparently,
I was just going to say, I don't really want to know how you know that.
People talk. People talk, all right?
About you, dogging.
Not about me dogging. I have never been dogging, all right?
Okay.
I haven't. There's never been a movie about dogging, has there?
Crash.
All right, I'll take it back. Is that Lynch?
No, that's Cronenberg.
Cronenberg. I knew it was one of them.
Yeah, the good Crash, not the Oscar baity one.
It's one of the weird Davids. I knew that.
Yeah. There are many weird Davids.
Well, there are two. If you say weird Davids, I think of two.
Bowie?
I don't think of Bowie when I think of weird Davids, but I'm not thinking about Bowie. I mean, I suppose you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you draw the line, though? Are we throwing Desmalchian into that mix as well?
Yeah.
Harbour?
He's a weird David. No, just piece of shit David.
Is he a piece of shit?
Well, he's a cheater.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's the Johnny Legs in this scenario.
Fair enough. He seems so nice. He's Hopper, though. He's Hop. We call him Hop. Can we talk about some of the scenes in this film, specific scenes?
Sure.
Are there any that stand out to you? Are there any scenes that you really like or dislike, or anything that sort of sticks in your mind?
There are some that stick in my mind more having read about them than having watched them. I know the quote unquote orgy scene. Mira Sorvino.
That one sticks in your mind, does it?
Hated that. No, well, this is what I mean. Not necessarily at the time, but having read about it afterwards. Don't you try and make it weird. Don't you try and make me feel weird. I'm happy being weird. I would admit if I particularly like that scene. No, there was no incest in it. It didn't interest me at all.
Why are you qualifying it so much, Sarah? Being all defensive.
after the fact, Mira Sorvino said that she found that whole thing really demoralizing to film and she hated it. And I don't know, I kind of feel for her in a way because obviously she was reportedly a victim of the whole Weinstein thing as well. Like he kind of somewhat derailed her career. And now she's just left appearing in shitty Christian movies.
Is
But
she?
yeah, these days. Is she not in Sound of Freedom? Why do I think she's in Sound of Freedom?
Oh no, is she?
Yeah, she might be. I don't think she's as nuts as Jim Caviezel, don't worry. But
I mean, who is?
yeah.
Gibson.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Mark Wahlberg's on the way.
I think Mark Wahlberg was there in 1992. People just didn't know about it because the internet didn't exist.
Yeah.
I fucking
Yeah.
hate Mark Wahlberg. No, don't get me started on Wahlberg, please. I don't want to think
Sorry.
about that. We'll do a Wahlberg movie one day and we'll just shit on him for an hour and that'd be fun.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll cover Shooter.
So what about you? Are there any specific scenes that stand out to you?
Also the orgy scene.
Yeah. But for different reasons.
No, that's interesting. That is an odd scene as well, isn't it? Because I think I kind of wish I'd known that information as well before watching the movie because I already felt that was quite uncomfortable, that scene.
I mean, yeah, it is supposed to because she's kind of been coerced into this, and
Yeah,
he's got the fucking audacity to be angry at her afterwards.
I
So I think
know.
it's supposed to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, the minute that he thinks that she may have enjoyed some part of it, he's calling her really bad names, and there's that when he spits on her as well.
Mhm.
Like it's gross, and it's like, mate, wind your neck in. Like you're the scumbag here. So it's interesting that I already felt uncomfortable in that scene as well because it is part of the you're meant to. That's the feeling that you're meant to have, definitely. But in terms of other scenes, I think one of the first scenes that I remember watching it for the first time and the second and third time watching it on my own this week. And I really love that shot when they focus on the car and they drive to the club and they get out. It's very Goodfellas-esque. It's very
Yeah.
Scorsese-esque.
Yeah.
Like, and Spike Lee is a big fan of Scorsese. I watched that Scorsese documentary on Apple, 5 hours worth of it,
Whew.
and Spike Lee is one of the talking heads on it. So he's got a lot of love for him, and you can tell in some of his movies. But I think this one more than any has definitely got some of that Scorsese inspiration in it.
Yeah.
And I think there, and the sort of camera comes down and it follows them in the car, and then walking down into the club, and then Leguizamo does that bit thing where you put your legs out a little bit and then you start dancing. And you see the collars at that point as well. So that first scene going into the club sticks in my mind for a myriad of reasons. And some of them are good and some of them are bad, e.g. costumes. But it was the 70s, like it was period appropriate. It just looked shit. And that was one of the scenes where I thought, oh, I think I might going to love this movie because it immediately makes me think of Goodfellas. And if you make me think of Scorsese, then yeah, I'm probably going to have a good time with it. So I really liked that shot on a technical level as well. And isn't as an introduction to those two characters and their relationship as well, I thought was interesting.
It's quite a similar opening to Boogie Nights, which was released. These films came out within like a year of each other. So I think, if anything, they were probably both Scorsese influenced. But yeah, just the first shot in Boogie Nights of like, it's a really long take, I believe, but kind of starting high and following them into the club. And yeah, very
it sounds
similar.
almost identical. Yeah.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. I thought of that immediately. But
interesting. Yeah. Another
same
Scorsese
era
fan
as well.
Boogie Nights. It's that isn't that song even in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. That dance and disco. Are you a fan of disco music, Sarah?
I didn't used to be, but I'm coming around to it the older I get.
Are you doing that like John Travolta? Oh, you can't tell what I'm doing here, but I'm sort of spinning my hands around.
More of like a pointing kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, you could do that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is pointless.
I know.
An auditory only medium.
It's not pointless. It's we're enjoying it, and that's all that matters. Other scenes. I think my. Do you know what? One of my favourite scenes in the movie might be one of the least important scenes as well. It's interesting because I think to trim this movie down a bit, you mentioned it earlier, I think it's very long and I think it could be shorter.
Hmm.
So this is one of the scenes that I might take out because it's not massively relevant to the rest of the film,
Okay.
but it might be one of my favorites. It's when Tony Lapps and his mate, the other copper, they go into the Italian restaurant
Oh, yeah.
and you find out that it's quite early in the movie. You find out that the policeman and the mobster guy, is he called Luigi or Lewis?
I don't know. I think you're being xenophobic, personally.
Maybe, yeah. But they sit down, they're having a meal, and you find out that there's a history there. They used to hang around together. That's all interesting to me. And then the mob guy brings up an interesting point about there's also lots of crime and murders happening in black neighborhoods.
Hmm.
And why is that not getting the press that this stuff is? And he doesn't say it in a very nice and eloquent way. He's quite offensive in the way that they're expressing this stuff. But it was a very interesting point. And it doesn't really, it just sort of comes up again. It's sort of hinted at again in the Spike Lee stuff with the when he's doing the journalist stuff, which is interesting. But
Mm.
I thought that's one of my favorite scenes because it feels like there's a lot of history there and there's some love and there's some tension and I got all of that. And then there's also a really interesting point there. And I kind of like when we don't really revisit that again, I was very disappointed. And I wish
Yeah.
that's what the movie had been.
I understand what you're saying. It's funny, like when you were saying that some of the language that they're not using, that they're using is not very PC, shall
It's
we
a Spike Lee
say?
joint. Yes, a common theme with a lot of his movies.
But this is the thing. I feel more comfortable watching that dialogue come out of a white man's mouth, knowing that it's a Spike Lee film, than I do watching, say, Django Unchained,
Yep.
when I know it's written by a white dude.
So you'd rather hear the bloke that plays Luigi saying racial slurs if it was written by Spike Lee? Did he write this movie?
I don't know. Don't put me on the spot.
Let's say that he did.
It's not about me.
Yeah. So you're more comfortable than that than you would be of Samuel Jackson saying that stuff that's been written by a
Written by a
Tarantino.
white guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you 100%. I don't know why that is. I don't know. It's quite. I suppose many people would agree with you.
I'd rather not hear it at all. I'd like to make that clear. But I think in stuff like this, it's almost what's the word? It's almost reckless to remove it as though it never happened. I think because
Yeah,
this is a
100%.
period piece, that language would have been true to the era. Those sorts of people probably would be, they weren't as frowned on as it is now.
Yeah.
We know now. We have no excuses. We know it's offensive. So if people use those words now, immediate red flag. But back then, I think it would be sort of irresponsible to act like it didn't happen.
No, I totally agree with you. I don't think you can just make history disappear. I think we've spoken about this a few times. Like, let's be true and represent the past in the way that it was. And you're not meant to like these characters. They're not good people. A lot of them, and you. It's not about liking what you're hearing. In fact, like it's a good thing to be uncomfortable with what you're hearing. And I found out with a lot of Spike Lee's movies that I consumed over the last week.
He was one of
And
3 writers, by the way.
there you
Just
go.
checked.
There you go. But I don't know. I think you can look. It's my opinion. I personally don't mind any kind of language in a film, but it depends what the intention is.
Yeah.
Like if it's an Uwe Boll movie and he's got that sort of language and it's probably intended to be a certain way, then
Mhm.
I'm not going to be a fan of it. But if it's a social context film, if it's a Spike Lee movie and you're representing characters in this time period who would have spoken like that,
Mhm.
and I say again, like they're not good people, then we're talking about mob bosses here, and we're talking about just people that are maybe a bit uneducated and fearing entirely the wrong things, which is a point of the film as well. It's a point that the film's making is that people are afraid and making victims of people for really weird reasons. So yeah, I
Mm.
think I'm fine with the language. I mean, it makes me feel uncomfortable, and that's the point. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it makes you feel more uncomfortable now than it would have done 30 years ago. Maybe it's
Probably.
interesting because a lot of people are like, oh, you can't say that anymore. But like, you can, because
You just
like,
shouldn't.
yeah, well, there's that. Let's not get into that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You can't say anything anymore, but you do because you can. Um, but like, I shouldn't go around saying that stuff, and I don't. Um, but I can watch a movie about it and enjoy it and understand what the point is that it's trying to make. And the fact that it makes me uncomfortable is a good thing, because I'm going, well, why is that making me uncomfortable? Who is this? And it
Yeah,
adds character and depth to the people that are being portrayed.
of course. And it's all about media literacy as well. You've got to take into account context and intent.
Yeah.
And, as an adult, realize that just because something's portraying something, it's not immediate endorsement of the thing it's portraying,
Yeah.
which is, I think, something that a lot of people get caught up about.
I agree. Yeah, there's a lot of very sensitive people maybe that are like, you just can't say anything, you can't do anything, and a lot of the time maybe they have good intentions, but I think you're sort of missing the point really. Like, there's somewhere in the middle, I think, is the correct way to sort of think about this.
Yeah.
You can't cancel everybody for using certain language, but you can cancel some people. Not that it's a real thing, people still work, don't they?
Oh, that's a different conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. Do you know something that occurred to me on this viewing? I've seen this movie maybe 10 times,
Wow.
11 times over the years, like maybe more. I don't know. Back before streaming was a thing, choices were limited. So the movies that I owned, I tended to watch a lot.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize until this viewing that made me feel really stupid. The scene where Adrian Brody and Jennifer Esposito are performing in CBGB's, I don't think I realized that the lyrics to the song it's verbatim from the letters that the Son of Sam sent to Jimmy Breslin and that were published.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Something about the blood in the cracks or something?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
exactly what he wrote and sent to Jimmy Breslin,
Wow.
which is sort of cowardly that they didn't try to incorporate the line "the chubby behemoth" to my mind, which is now my pet name for the cat, just so you know.
Okay. Which cat?
The cat.
What
Our
cat?
cat.
Oh, your cat.
Our cat.
It's your cat. Oh,
Your
it's not my cat.
daughter.
It's not my daughter. Stepdad at best. And I'm not even there. I'm an absent stepdad.
Well, it tickled me when he referred to himself as the chubby behemoth in one of his
Yeah.
letters.
I think that maybe he wasn't all there.
Have you seen any interviews with him?
No, I don't believe so.
I found one on YouTube. I can't remember which news program it was, but they sort of touted, interview with the Son of Sam killer. And it's just the whole thing is just him going, yeah, that wasn't me. I was in a different place. That was a different guy. And I'm just like, you piece of shit. You're still not taking any accountability.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to say, isn't it?
Yeah. He was just like, yeah, that wasn't me.
Maybe if you do sort of feel guilty and bad about it now, just don't say anything.
Yeah.
I did hear that he had a problem with this movie. That was interesting to hear.
Did he? Okay.
Apparently, yeah.
What, just about the film existing or something specific?
I can't remember very specifically what it was, but I do. One of the few bits of research that I did do is I watched an interview with Spike Lee with a journalist, and I think he mentioned it in the interview that it's interesting that Berkowitz had a problem with this movie, but it's a movie. When that guy went out and murdered multiple people,
Yeah.
like what? And the media is entertaining this.
Yeah.
Like what?
Just cancel the project then, lest we offend the serial killer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. God forbid. What an evil guy. This man making a film about a real life thing, or to the extent that it does represent it. And this guy, like you say, let's not hurt his feelings. God forbid. That was that was interesting. And like, what do we care what he thinks? I suppose that a lot of people find that interesting, and there are things to learn by interviewing serial killers from a psychology perspective. But I suppose it's a bit different if you're publishing a David Berkowitz puff piece in the New York Times or something. Like, his PR guys were on it. Like, yeah, we're going to make you a star. Yeah,
Yeah.
weird thing. But then it's the media, isn't it? And that's another thing in this film. It's taking a bit of a dump on the media, I think, as well, in a little bit, and definitely the police force as well.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, we've got the director cameo.
Yeah.
Spike Lee himself is playing the news anchor, and his scenes, particularly, I think, are a bit of a pot shot at how it was reported, maybe.
Yeah.
And obviously, we have the cold open with the Jimmy Breslin jump scare.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's bookended by him as well, isn't it? Because I think it finishes with him, and he sort of says there's 8 million people or something in New York, and this was one of their stories. But I'm thinking, no, it was about 8 million stories you were trying to tell. That was about right, I think.
Yeah, maybe that was the problem. There's just too much going on in New York. So actually, he portrayed it really accurately.
Yeah.
City that never sleeps.
Yeah.
So you mentioned things that you don't like about this movie. So is there anything else that you haven't mentioned? Obviously, you think it's too much. There's too much going on. That's the major complaint. What else?
I think that's mostly there's a few scenes like that I just think are unnecessary, or like I think we're pressing the Vinny is a lying, cheating scumbag angle a bit too much. I thought Johnny Legs was excellent, but I didn't find that storyline particularly interesting. There are other areas that I wish it had gone in, maybe, and it's too long. Like, for me, it's such a long movie, and it was sort of almost getting to the point of like Zodiac, where that's a film that I barely got through that. Like, it's so long, and it's so Fincher. It's so oppressive.
Is he normal, David?
Is David Fincher normal David?
Or is he, that's what I'm asking, is he another weird David that we have to add to the lineup?
Yeah, he's probably a weird David as well. Yeah, you're right. It was sort of getting to that point for me, but it's just like some of the techniques in it bring me back around again, like the long take, or the double dolly, which is a signature of Spike Lee's as well. All of that stuff, I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, I love this stuff. But then we're focusing so much on things that I don't find particularly interesting. The score, I thought, was pretty excellent throughout. I really enjoyed some of the darker themes in the film.
I really enjoyed the music in this.
I was going to ask you about the music. It sort of covers and maybe it sort of leans into the transition that we're talking about as well, with the going from disco to punk and that kind of new wave era that we're sort of heading towards. That was interesting. It had that Talking Head song in it. Psycho Killer.
Well, that's going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the day.
You're welcome.
I do love Talking Head.
That was quite subtle as well. I think that was in the diner. When was that the point where Brody smashes the bottle on his head and says, "Oh, I love ketchup" or something?
I think it might be.
It's a weird bit of dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's another reason that I love it. Like, punk was sort of, it wasn't about shock value, but I think a lot of people did sort of lean into the stereotypes. So I enjoyed that stuff with his character. And like the whole hypocrisy as well of like Johnny Legs and Mira Sorvino going to this orgy, this drug-fueled orgy, but nobody really bats an eyelid. But when Adrian Brody and Jennifer Esposito are making porn, that's something to be derided.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of hypocrisy being exposed throughout the film, and I don't know. I think there's a lot to dig into.
I think you're right. There is a lot to dig into. The orgy between Vinny and Diona is kind of a secret. They were meant to go and see the band play. What was the band called? I can't remember now. They've got a punk name, whatever it was. The Strangled Spiders or something. But they were meant to go and see a gig, and they get to the venue, CBGB's, which was a real place, right? Maybe it still is. I don't know. Which Talking Heads played in. Interestingly, I read. You know all this stuff because it's entrenched in this.
Yeah. Well, the Ramones kind of made it super, super famous, like globally famous, I guess. Yeah.
Is it globally famous?
Yeah, in the punk movement, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, interesting. Those two characters were meant to be going there for a gig, and they bottled it because they're like, oh, we're wearing our. We're wearing our. I'm very glad that they didn't go in because they were wearing their disco outfits, and they would have. I would have felt like a complete idiot if I was wearing those big collars and I walked into a punk bit like that.
You'd have felt like an idiot wearing those big collars anywhere.
Yeah, but they decide not to go there, and they're like, oh, let's go to 54, and immediately I'm thinking, you're not getting in at 54, and they're not. They're not, and it's interesting that they're going from this world. They're like big fish in a small pond to small fish in a big pond,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't get in the club, so they end up going to this orgy. But that's very quiet; like no one knows about that. Whereas Ruby and Richie are they're not hiding what they're doing. They're just doing what they're doing. I suppose he's being a bit more discreet about the work that he's doing, and he doesn't want that to get out. But they're sort of less concerned about that. And the Vinny character has all of these desires, sexual desires and fantasies, but he doesn't want to do them with his wife. So he's like repressing that stuff and
Yeah,
like living the way
there's a
he wants to
shame.
live. And there's a shame. Yeah, there's a shame attached there. So there's maybe a bit of jealousy there on his part that Richie is doing what it appears to be what he wants to be doing. But yeah, it's interesting that the criticism is levied at those two characters rather than anywhere else. But I suppose that's the point. Like they're doing something different and they don't understand it, therefore bad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the point of the movie, I guess, to a large degree.
Yeah.
Liked all that stuff.
I think this film's great.
I think it's very good. I think it's good. I think it's quite good.
Okay. That's high praise. This is high praise from you.
I'm at like a 3.5 for this film.
I'm still at a 4 stars, even after all these years. And what's terrifying to me is that 1999, when this film was made, is so much closer to 1977 than to 2025. That's horrifying.
To me, yeah.
Don't like
that too. Yeah, we're like they were closer to the murders then than we would be now if the murders had happened in the 90s.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah,
yeah.
I hate things like that. Yeah, no, like it's pretty good. I think it'll be a long time before I want to revisit this, but I really enjoyed watching some other Spike Lee stuff, and I do want to get to Do the Right Thing. I almost watched He Got Game the other day, but I sort of figured out. I also watched Inside Man, and I figured out that I've watched like 3 movies in a row that have got Denzel Washington in it, and I love the guy.
So does Spike Lee, apparently.
Yeah, and it's like, what, Denzel? You're not available. What's your son doing? Can he do Black Klansman? I've enjoyed rewatching some of his movies and watching for the first time some of his movies, and I can't wait to watch Black Klansman with you. I'm gonna I'm gonna buy it. Actually, I'm gonna buy it, and we're gonna watch it when I get back. And yeah, I'm sure we'll do another of his movies at some point. Just not Old Boy.
No, definitely not Old Boy. I think
maybe
you
Old
should
Boy.
do. No, I think you should do a spin-off about the talking dog and call it Talking Dog and have Eric Roberts voice it.
So you're going to kick out John Turturro?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just so it's in a talking cat universe?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understood that joke.
I'm glad you did, because I can guarantee almost nobody listening will.
It's a very niche joke. You've got to be familiar with Eric Roberts, who's done 5,000 movies, to be fair.
Yeah.
And also a talking cat.
And the question mark is integral.
Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah. Well, it's all right, this movie. It's all right.
I do think Americans have got a fucking nerve making fun of English place names when they've got places like Yonkers.
Okay.
That's going to be my final thought.
I didn't know that Americans had a problem with English place names or that there was a place called Yonkers.
Well, there you go. You've learned 2 things now.
I've learned so much today. Yeah. So, halfway point now. That's us at halfway.
Are you thrilled?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you might be.
Not as thrilled as I'll be in 4 weeks' time when we're 100% done. But at this point, we're at 50%. So that means that episode 5 of 8 next week, and do you know what we're doing next week, or would you like me to remind you?
Well, I sort of know what we're doing next week, but that was before we had a conversation about potentially having to switch things due to availability. So now I'm unsure again.
Okay. Well, look, I'll tell you what we're doing.
It's either going to be
It's gonna be the Patty Jenkins movie Monster about Eileen Wuornos, or it'll be something else, and you'll know that by when it comes out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if you start listening and we're going on about Jared Leto and his terrible accent, then you know you're not listening to a show about Monster.
That doesn't really give anything away, does it? Because that could be
precisely.
Almost every Jared Leto movie.
Yep. His very presence is a crime, so they would all fit.
Yeah. Both in film production and in real life, sadly, his presence is a crime, often, allegedly. Don't sue me, Jared Leto, I've got nothing. So it'll probably be Monster, but it might be something else.
Yeah.